One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Everybody please repeat. Everyone, all at the same time. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Srila Prabhupada's purport. This verse is a reply to Arjuna's third question. What is the means of attaining to the transcendental position? As explained before, the material world is acting under the spell of the modes of material nature. One should not be disturbed by the activities of the modes of nature. Instead of putting his consciousness into such activities, he may transfer his consciousness to Krishna activities. Krishna activities are known as bhakti-yoga, always acting for Krishna. This includes not only Krishna, but his different plenary expansions such as Brahma and Narayana. He has innumerable expansions. One who is engaged in the service of any of the forms of Krishna or of his plenary expansions is considered to be transcendentally situated. One should also note that all the forms of Krishna are fully transcendental, blissful, full of knowledge, and eternal. Such personalities of Godhead are omnipotent and omniscient, and they possess all transcendental qualities. So, if one engages himself in the service of Krishna or his plenary expansions with unfailing determination, although these modes of material nature are very difficult to overcome, one can overcome them easily. This has already been explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto Krishna at once surmounts the influence of the modes of material nature. To be in Krishna consciousness or in devotional service means to acquire equality with Krishna. The Lord says that His nature is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge, and the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme, as gold particles are part of a gold mine. Thus, the living entity in his spiritual position is as good as gold, as good as Krishna in quality. The difference of individuality continues. Otherwise, there will be no question of bhakti-yoga. Bhakti-yoga means that the Lord is there, the devotee is there, and the activity of exchange of love between the Lord and the devotee is there. Therefore, the individuality of two persons is present in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the individual person. Otherwise, there would be no meaning to bhakti-yoga. If one is not situated in the same transcendental position with the Lord, one cannot serve the Supreme Lord. To be a personal assistant to a king, one must acquire the qualifications. Thus, the qualification is to become Brahman, or freed from all material contamination. It is said in the Vedic literature, Brahmaiva Sambrahmapi eti. One can attain the Supreme Brahman by becoming Brahman. This means that one must qualitatively become one with Brahman. By attainment of Brahman, one does not lose his eternal Brahman identity as an individual soul. Om Jnanam Timirandasya Gyanan Gyana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanispare Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kipa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again the text. Mam chayo vyavicharena bhakti-yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So this verse is the reply to Arjuna's third question to Lord Krishna. Arjuna had three questions to Lord Krishna. First question, this is from text 21. He was inquiring, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? Then what is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature? So this is the reply to the third question. How does one transcend the modes of nature? Modes of nature meaning the predominating energy in the material world that binds the conditioned soul birth after birth. It says that one who is under the modes of material nature will not be able to get out of this material world. The main reason why we're still in the material world is because we're still under the modes of material nature. This energy binds the conditioned souls in the material world. Just like a rope. A rope is made of this tree. A rope is not just one rope. It has three strand ropes that is like joined together. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. To be good is not good enough in the material world. Because as Prabhupada says, to be good, still there is a mixture of passion and ignorance. To be transcendental means you are in the mode of pure goodness, pure Suddha Sattva. Now to be in tamas, Tamagun, Rajagun, and Sattvagun that still binds us. And as Prabhupada says, these three modes is combining each other. 3 times 3, it becomes 9. 9 times 1 equals 81, and 81 and 81 times 81 is like so on and so on and so forth. It's more difficult when it gets more stronger and stronger. So how can one surpass these modes of material nature? And it says here that the only way that one can get out or become free from these modes, if you become free from these modes of material nature, that means you are in the spiritual platform. And how can one get out of that bondage from these modes of material nature? Surpass. Surpass means go beyond, is to be engaged in full devotional service. As Prabhupada says, 24 hours. Not just 3 hours in a day. Or 6 hours, which most of the devotees, they're engaged. Practical service. It's like most of our devotees here in Krishna Balaram Mandir, they're engaged for 6 hours of service. Prabhupada says in Vrindavan, one must be engaged 8 hours of service, practical. That is not included your morning sadhana. It's not including the Mangal Artik, Tulsi Puja, Japa, Shrimad Bhagavatam class. No. Usually we perform our sadhana from what? From 4 till 9. That's not including also your prasadam time. So from 4, let's say from 4 to 10, we are engaged in that sadhana only. And then we're engaged, we should be engaged from 10 o'clock again till what, 6 o'clock at night? That will be like 8 hours, isn't it? Huh? But some of our devotees, they're not even engaged 5 hours or 6 hours, less than that. So how can we be engaged 24 hours? Bhakti means acting always for the pleasure of Krishna. That's what bhakti means. Bhakti-yoga, always acting for Krishna. Putting our consciousness in such a way that whatever activities we perform is only meant for the pleasure of Krishna and his devotees. Then that is bhakti. Anytime that we perform activities which is not meant for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord or the Vaishnavas, then we are engaged in material activities. If we are engaged in material activities, that means that binds us in the material world. There is what you call karma. There is a reaction. So if one performs activities which is meant for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord and his devotees, there is no karma. If there is no karma, there is no reason for us to return back again into material world, taking birth in any one of the species, 8,400,000 species. There's no need to take birth again, isn't it? So the reason why we take birth is because we have desires separate from Krishna. To be one with Krishna means to be one with his desire. The Mayavadis also, They want to become one with Krishna. They want to merge with the Brahma Jyoti, the Brahman effulgence. That effulgence coming from the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord. The light, the effulgence coming from the transcendental form of the Lord. Just like the sun, the sunshine and the moonshine, where do they get their effulgence? Where do they get their brightness? From the Supreme Lord body, the Supreme Lord's body. Even though the Supreme Lord is in the spiritual world, it says in the spiritual world you don't need this electricity. There's no air condition there. There's no electric fan. Everything is very smooth and breeze. It's like in Mayapur, like Prabhupada called it Vaikunta breeze because it's near the Ganga. When you are being refreshed by this breeze from Ganga, it's like Vaikunta. So the effulgence of the Supreme Lord extends up to the material world, being reflected from the sun and the moon, and this is how we get this energy from the sun and the moon. So the Mayavadis, they want to merge to this, and this is what it called Maya, because we cannot remain in that situation where we are connected with the Supreme Lord through His effulgence. They have to come down again. So we have to act according to the scriptures that we have to serve the Supreme Lord in the form of activities called bhakti-yoga. And there are 9 processes. Bhakti-yoga, starting from hearing and chanting, remembering the Supreme Lord, worshipping Him, His Archa Vigraha form, serving His lotus feet, becoming His friend, Bandhanam, praying to the Supreme Lord also is a form of bhakti. And ultimately, giving up everything and surrender completely, 100%, the very self. Mind, words, activities, and the very self. That means the soul. In this way, one can surpass the modes of material nature. What's that verse? Sagunan samatityaitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Yes. How one can surpass this modes of material nature is this. Daivihi sa gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam evaye prapadyante mayam itam tarantite. It's very difficult to overcome the modes. This is also divine because it's coming from the Supreme Lord, divine nature. But because we misuse this divine nature of the Supreme Lord, then we become entangled. Says here that this Brahma Bhuyaya is elevated to the Brahman platform. To be elevated into this Brahman platform, one has to perform bhakti-yoga. And which means that anyone who is in this Brahman platform, spiritual, the Brahman means spiritual. That means living entities. We're also spiritual, just like Krishna is a spiritual entity, the living beings, Jiva, Atma. But Krishna is Param Atma. We're also Atman or Brahman, but Krishna is Para Brahman. So to come to that level whereby we'll be able to serve Krishna As Prabhupada says, to go to the sun planet, you need to have the body which is suitable to live in an environment which is very, very hot. Prabhupada says, if the sun tilted even less than 1 degree, we will all get burned here into ashes. So, of course, there are living entities in sun planet. There is a sun god, Vivasvan. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavam Aham Avyayam. I first instructed this knowledge to the sun god Vivasvan. So there are living entities there who worship and serve Vivasvan, the sun god. And we cannot go there with this. We have to, in this body, we have to have a special body. Just like they said they went to the moon, right? But Prabhupada says they cannot go to the moon with the space suit from the astronauts from NASA. It's like a show. It was filmed in some kind of studios in maybe in Hollywood or something, somewhere there. So to serve the Supreme Lord, we cannot serve the Supreme Lord with impure state of consciousness. Our consciousness should be pure also. So this bhakti-yoga, what we're doing, beginning with the sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, following the 4 rules and regulations, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, getting up early in the morning, performing practical devotional service, eventually will become purified. As Prabhupada gave an example, just like there is a fire and you put an iron in the fire, eventually if that iron remains there for some time, it will also get the same quality as the fire. And when you take out that iron from the fire and you touch to something, that something that been touched by the iron will also get burned. So our body is like that also. Our body is impure. The soul is not, because the soul cannot be cut into pieces, it cannot be burned by fire, cannot be wet by water, but it's covered up. Covered up by what? Covered up by the modes of material nature. So we have to uncover, we have to get released from these modes of material nature by performing bhakti. And bhakti can be done by the devotees or the aspiring devotee to whomever he desire, which different forms of the Supreme Lord. These different forms of the Supreme Lord, as we mentioned also in the class yesterday, they're unlimited. Sometimes devotees, they want to worship the Supreme Lord as Jagannath, sometimes Gaurnitai, sometimes Sitaram, sometimes Lakshmi Narayan, sometimes Hanuman is not the form of the Lord. He is servant of the Lord. Yes. Yeah, you're each and every one of us, of course, in our movement, our main deity is Radha Krishna. But some devotees, they prefer worshiping different forms of the Lord, which is more dear, who is more dear to them. So there is no difference, because Supreme Lord is transcendental. So any forms of the Supreme Lord whom the devotee would like to worship and render service can also equally purify and spiritualize, uncover the real nature of the living being. So that in that way he can be properly situated. It says that the Atma, that means the living beings, the soul, has 8 qualities. 8 qualities. No sin, no death, no old age, doesn't get hungry, doesn't get thirsty, there is no lamentation, is always truthful, and all desires automatically satisfied. You remember? No death, no sin, no old age, no hunger. The soul doesn't get hungry. It's your stomach that's getting hungry. The soul is eternal. What is the food for the soul? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The soul doesn't need the cake or gulab jamun or no, doesn't get hungry. It's the body that's get hungry, the material form. Doesn't get old, it's eternal. Right? No beginning. Of course, it says that we were created by the Supreme Lord, so there must be a beginning, but we cannot point out in the history when did we start. That means we are eternal. That's what it means. No thirst. Just like in the story of Parikshit Maharaj, when he was going for hunting trip, because the Kshatriyas, they have this privilege and license to go hunting so that they can exercise their hunting skills and martial arts. So he got thirsty. And when he went to the hermitage of Samika Rishi, he did not get attention. And Samika, he says Samika Rishi, right? Samika Rishi, he was in meditation, so he didn't. He says there that pure devotees, they don't get thirsty, they don't get hungry. Because a pure devotee, satisfied. No lamentation. Nasochati, nakangshati, sama sarvesu bhutesu, mad bhaktin labate param. There is no lamentation for what one lost. Nasochati, nakangshati. There is no hankering for one does not have. So this only happens to a conditioned soul. But for a pure devotee, no, there is no lamentation. Always truthful. No tendency to cheat a pure soul. It's only in the conditioned state that we have tendency to cheat others. 4 defects. Tendency to commit mistakes. Tendency to be illusion. Tendency to cheat others. And the senses are imperfect. This is the body. But the soul, they don't have this. They don't have this. So as we progress in Krishna consciousness, we uncover our real self, and we're able to engage ourselves in the service of Krishna or one of his plenary expansions. And it says here, even though the modes of material nature is very difficult to overcome, one can overcome them very easily. And as one continues serving the Supreme Lord, then he'll get into that platform or state where he'll be able to fully satisfy Krishna. Right now, we're just trying to satisfy Krishna, but our desire to satisfy Krishna is mixed with material desires. So we're not be able to satisfy Krishna 100%. Does it make sense? If we serve Krishna or his representatives or his expansions with material desires, then the purificatory process is not as quick. But the lesser we get rid of, or the more we get rid of our material desires, or the lesser our material desires while serving the Supreme Lord, then the more we become purified. And the more we become purified, then eventually we'll come to the original state of the living being, which we mentioned, and the body, the same body that we have right now, the material body, becomes also spiritual. Does it make sense? That means our body right now, which is material form, when we use it for the service of Krishna, becomes purified, and eventually, when we don't have any more hankering, lamentation, no more material desires, no more thinking this is good, this is bad, oh this is very nice, this is not so good. Prabhupada says, in the material world, there's no such thing as good and bad. In the material world, there is no such thing as happiness and distress. In the material world, there is no such thing as joy and suffering. Prabhupada says, everything is suffering. It is only our mental conditioning. Same object, I see it differently and you see it differently, according to our mind conception, the way we perceive. But actually, it doesn't exist there. It's just our mental concoction. So there's no such thing as this joy or sad. Everything is bad. Good, as Prabhupada says, good karma is not good enough. Because good karma means you still have to come back. You may say, oh, Prabhu, they're doing good karma. They're helping the poor, feeding the hungry, giving shelter to the homeless. That is very good. But that is not good enough, because you have to come back again. The utmost you can go is the Swargaloka, the heavenly planets, and then you have to come back again. Unlike the devotees, those who are trying to become devotees, our endeavor never goes in vain. Never goes in vain. If we're not able to surpass the modes of material nature in this lifetime, in the future, it will be. It's going to happen. As long as we keep trying and endeavoring for this process whereby to please Krishna. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the way how we can make progress in Krishna consciousness is we should be willing to give up our material desires. The way we'll be able to chant the holy name of the Lord purely is that if we are ultimately determined and willing to give up our material desires. So there's two things here. We have material desires, but we don't want to give it up. And I will still follow the process of bhakti-yoga. So how can you move? How can you make progress? Prabhupada gave an example. It's like there's a tree. And the tree, you're hugging the tree. And you tell your friend, please get me out from here. Get me out from here. But you're hugging the tree. So how will you be able to get out from the tree? Huh? It's not possible. So how can you make progress in Krishna consciousness? It's like you're trying to make a fire, but you're putting petrol on it. You're hanging into the material desires. You want to make progress. It's not possible. you're gonna have difficulty. You cannot be 1 foot in the material desires and 1 foot trying to become a devotee. You'll be out of balance. It's not possible. You'll go crazy. You'll get mad. Might as well, if you wanna be with Krishna, give up material desires. Then you'll make progress. Once you are determined and willing to give up the material desires, then spiritual progress is rapid. And the rapidness, or the quicker we give up our material desires, the quicker we'll be able to please Krishna 100%, 100%. And in this way, we'll have the same nature as Krishna. As Prabhupada gave an example here, the gold in the gold mine, and if you have a small amount of gold, it's the same quality. Quantity is different. Krishna is unlimited and we are limited. But we can become, in a sense, the same quality as Krishna also, the more we serve Him in this process and get out of this material world by surpassing the three modes of material nature. So it's a gradual process. Prabhupada mentions here, Prabhupada mentions in one of the purports that this process is gradual. It takes some time, but the taking of some time is, what is it compared to eternity? It's practically nothing. You may think, oh, how come? I've heard some devotees asking me, Maharaj, how come I don't feel I'm making advancement in Krishna consciousness? I'm trying myself, I'm struggling, I'm doing everything, but I feel I'm not making progress. Actually, that is very healthy to think like that. We should not be satisfied in our performance of bhakti. Because if we are not satisfied and we are thinking that I'm not making progress, that means we are making progress. Does it make sense? Right? If you think that, oh, I'm doing good, that means you're not doing good. It's the opposite. In Krishna consciousness, the more we think that there is always room for improvement, then we are hopeful that we are actually making some progress. If we're thinking that, oh, I'm satisfied, this is all I can do. Sometimes devotee says, oh, this is my nature, what can I do? That is not your nature, that is the modes of material nature. Because it says the soul is like so powerful. So powerful. We have the same quality as Krishna. Eternity, full of knowledge, and bliss. As Prabhupada says, we're also Krishna. We're a small Krishna. Krishna is unlimited Krishna, and we are the small Krishna. Because in nature, we are the same. So, the individuality between the two personalities, one is supreme and the other, us, limited. It cannot be in one time become one. There's always uniqueness in each and every soul. Krishna is the only personality that has a relationship with everyone. You will not be able to find another personality that has a relationship with everybody. Only God. Only Krishna. I may have a relationship with my friends, with my relatives, with my parents, with my brothers and sisters, but up to how much is limited. But Krishna, who is unlimited, is having this relationship with everyone, and there is no time that all of us will become one with Krishna. Krishna is always God. It's not that there is a time that we will also become God. We're always going to be servants of Krishna or servants of God. So in that position, we'll be able to surpass these modes of material nature. We'll come to the level of Brahman platform, the original state of being of the jivas, being Krishna conscious. So it says here, one can attain the supreme Brahman by becoming Brahman. This means that one must qualitatively become one with Brahman. So that time will come. It depends on us. It depends on what is the sincerity that we want to put into what we are doing. Krishna only sees our sincerity for whatever we do, big or small. You can sweep the floor, and if you're doing it in sincerely means without any motive. Sincerely means purely. Than trying to make big things, but not sincerely and having some motivation behind, then it will not be having the same result. So Krishna sees our sincerity. Krishna sees our intentions. Krishna is seeing our motivations for whatever we do. And this what counts. This is what you call bhakti. That's why it says, Patram puspam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. Even if one offers a leaf, a fruit, some flower, or some water to Krishna, Krishna doesn't see those things. Krishna is seeing what is the ingredient you are putting while you're offering those items, which is love and devotion. That is bhakti. That is bhakti. So we should be trying to do and develop this. Our sincerity for whatever we do. In some places we travel all over the world, and in some places it's very easy to see the love and devotion of the devotees, how they do things in whatever they do. It's very easy to some devotees, cutting sabji for Krishna, they cut it, okay, offer to Krishna. In some places, the sizes of the potatoes, they're all like the same, it's like, it's like, not like, okay, Krishna, please accept this. No, it's not like that. In some places, it's like so nicely the way they decorate, the way, everything that they do. I'm not gonna say where it is, but it's very obvious, very obvious. So you can tell that these devotees are very serious. They're very sincere. Yeah, sincerity came from seriousness. If you're serious, that means you're focused. You're undivided. So we should pray that someday we'll come to that level, but it takes some time. It takes some time. That's why Prabhupada says this process is gradual. And at the same time, Prabhupada says it could take one moment to attain bhakti. But that moment for others means a long, long time. For others, that moment could be this lifetime. Again, it is what? It's like 100 years of Lord Brahma and 100 years here is different. It's relative. You can be Krishna conscious in one moment, and you can attain Krishna consciousness before leaving this body. Others, they attain Krishna consciousness at the time of death. Huh? No, when they hear the holy name of the Lord. At the time of death. By Krishna's mercy. They're very fortunate souls. So some, they attain Krishna consciousness at the time of death. And some, even before the time of death, even while living, they are already Krishna conscious. The result is the same, Krishna consciousness. So hopefully before we leave our body, we become Krishna conscious. Or if not, at the time of death, we'll think of Krishna. But one cannot think of Krishna at the time of death if we don't try to think of Krishna now. Because now is the most important moment. Whatever we're thinking right now, whatever activities that we're doing every day, is like we are preparing for our next life. Whatever we're doing right now, whatever we're thinking every day, rest assured, at the time of death or after death, we will continue doing that. So if one is wise enough, we should start waking up. We're also awake, isn't it? We're not sleeping. Our eyes are wide awake. But being awake means becoming Krishna conscious. Okay, stop here. Any questions? Where is Bhakta Mike? Is there sound in there? Hare Ram.
Just like always we are thinking of the Lord, we should always think that how his devotees, just like thinking of Narad Muni, thinking of Prahlad Maharaj, thinking of Amrish Maharaj, we keep on thinking of the Lord's devotees. And at the time of death also, when it comes that we are thinking of those things, and hopeful that we can go back home.
You'll go back. If you're thinking of your guru at the time of death, you'll go back home, back to Godhead. If you're thinking of your guru, because guru is representative of Krishna. If you're thinking of a devotee, of a pure devotee, that is pure. Whatever, see, that's the whole idea here. When you're always thinking of Krishna favorably, then you becoming pure all the time. So when you think of these great personalities from the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the whole exercise of what we're doing. We're trying to purify our consciousness by hearing about these great personalities that somehow we'll be always thinking of them, and at the time of death, if somehow we're fortunate to think of them, just see what is your consciousness when you wake up. Just see tomorrow. As soon as you wake up, where is your consciousness? What are you thinking? That is the criteria of where you are. Okay? Because you know why? Sleep is like sudden death. When you sleep, it's like you died. You don't know where you are. You don't know where you went. You don't know. Oftentimes, when I'm traveling and I wake up, I cannot even immediately remember where I am. So just tomorrow, test yourself, and the next few days. As soon as you get up, as soon as you hear, do you use alarm clock? Sometimes devotees, they have alarm clock, but they wake up before the alarm clock start to strike, because their consciousness is already awake. And as soon as you wake up, see where it is. See what are you thinking. If you're thinking of Krishna or Balaram, you're very fortunate. If you're thinking of some of their pastimes, you're very fortunate. Extremely fortunate. It's like yesterday, Balaram Jayanti, right? When I woke up, I was thinking of Krishna. Oh, I was thinking of Balaram. But that was yesterday. That was his birthday. Right? So we should be thinking of every day is the birthday of Krishna and Balaram, or Radhastami, or your Guru Maharaj. Isn't it? And that is a good start. Your whole day will be just like so spiritual. Any other question? Yes? Would you like to pass mic, please? Go on that side. Go on that side. Yes. You understand? Oh, you have a question also. Okay. Yes?
Hare Krishna. Here it says, engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances. So how do we get to that platform? Is that steadiness?
Unfailing? Yeah, you have to try. Unfailing means incessantly. That means no gap. No gap. Unfailingly means continuously. So eventually it'll come to that. That's what you call spontaneous. That's what you call raganuga. And we cannot go to that level not until we mentioned earlier. I don't know if you were here. We have to follow Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Follow rules and regulations. And even when you come to that unfailing, you still follow the same, but without extra endeavor. You don't have to strain yourself. It becomes natural. Yes, by determination. And how do you get the determination? By associating with the devotees who have that great determination. It's infectious. You get infected like an epidemic. Prabhupada says, bhakti can only be obtained from the devotees who have that eagerness. The source of bhakti is bhakti herself through the devotees who have that kind of bhakti. So when you associate with those kind, so you should be always eager to look out and watch out for those devotees who are very enthusiastic, very sincere, try to get their association. And how do you get their association? It's not like, Hare Krishna Prabhu, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, Prabhu. How are you? Okay, thank you. Bye. Oh, that's not association. That's not association. Association, Mataji, I have some problem. I want to make progress in Krishna consciousness. I think you can help me. Can I tell you my problem? That is association. And the other devotee says, yes, I will try. Revealing one's mind, offering gifts, receiving gifts, accepting prasad, not all the time, but also serving prasad. Other devotees, they just like accepting prasad. Hey, this is part of the loving exchanges. No, loving exchanges means you reciprocate. You serve and inquire. Then you'll get infected by their bhakti. Guaranteed. You cannot escape that. When there's an epidemic, you cannot escape the virus. It's viral. It's like when there is a viral fever here or coughing in Vrindavan. Everyone is coughing. You cannot escape that coughing. It happens, whether you like it or not. So if you're with the devotees who are very determined, then it'll no fail that you will be like them. You'll be like spontaneous like them. You'll become happy like them. There is no lamentation. That's how it's very simple. Prabhupada says the process of bhakti-yoga is so simple, you will miss it. You will miss it. It'll just like pass this way. What happened? What happened? No. It's just like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Once you reach that level, others can also sense it. Others can tell it. If you're hungry and when you eat, you're satisfied, others can tell that you're satisfied. You cannot hide it. Those who have bhakti, they cannot hide, and everybody can see it. You should look for those kind of personalities.
And if we're not on that platform yet and we do get disturbed by the circumstances, how can you guys handle it?
Keep going. Don't stop. If you snooze, you lose. You know what? If there are some problems, there are some obstacles, some hindrance, many things that will come on our way to discourage us, to lose our determination. If you continue and never give up, this will make you stronger and stronger and stronger. The moment you stop chanting, the moment you become neglectful of your duties, you will become weaker and weaker and weaker. Even if you fall down, stand up immediately and keep going. Don't forget the past. You cannot even buy it $1 million, or you cannot even buy a boatload of gold. Past is past. What is, as I said, what is most important is now. Keep going. Be determined. Keep going. Try as hard as you can. Krishna, this is what Krishna wanted to see from us. Krishna doesn't see, the greatness of what we do is the endeavor. This is where we get the reciprocation from Krishna, the endeavor that we put in what we're doing. And if we don't stop, you just keep going, in spite of difficulties, Krishna will reward us in the end. Bhakti. Anything else? Okay.
My question also similar like this.
So why do I have to answer if it's the same?
This is different.
Okay, okay.
One is in this
Speak,
purport.
speak. In the
One should
purport.
not in the purport, the fourth line, one should not be disturbed by the activities of the modes of nature. Instead of putting his consciousness into such activities, he may transfer his consciousness into Krishna's activities.
What's the question?
So in this condition, we cannot overcome these three modes of material nature. The material nature is very strong.
But Krishna is stronger.
Krishna is stronger. Yes, I accept.
Okay. Bhakti is stronger than Maya. Maya is very strong, but there is stronger than Maya. Bhakti. Even in Bhakti, Krishna becomes subordinate. That he will give himself to you. Once he gives himself to you, you surpass Triguna. So Bhakti is that's why it says here, bhakti-yoga, always acting for Krishna consciousness. This is the only way how we can surpass, overcome the modes of material nature. Come into the level of Brahman, or our status being servants of Krishna. Become servant of Krishna, then modes of nature will not touch you. That's the whole idea here.
Yes, Maharaj, I accept.
But
When I first read Bhagavad-Gita, I read all these things.
yeah,
It's very attractive, so I came to Krishna consciousness.
very
When
good.
I came to Krishna consciousness, I have facing so many obstacles. I should not do Vaishnava. I have to chant every day 16 rounds.
Okay.
I have to take only Krishna Prasadam.
Okay.
I should not associate with the Mayavadis.
Okay.
I have to analyze with whom to talk. These are all when I first entered. I don't know.
You don't know.
Yes, there are so many obstacles. This
Yeah.
seems to be very big for me now.
It's not. It's like mosquitoes. For Krishna, these big demons is nothing. You see, it's not easy also. Krishna consciousness is easy, but at the same time, it is difficult. It's the process. There is no defect in the process. It's the way you want to apply the process that you're having difficulty. Right? But if you follow the process in toto as the way it should be, then this problem is nothing. This difficulties is nothing. Look at Prabhupada. Prabhupada, see, I'm going to tell you, there are two things here. Understanding that Krishna is with me. This is Prabhupada. Prabhupada, he knows that Krishna is with him. So he underwent so many tribulations, so many struggles. Prabhupada didn't give up. He was alone. America, you go to New York City, you don't know anybody, you'll get lost. We just went from there. It's like a zoo. We call it Zoo York. It's not New York. It's not new. It's rotten. And Prabhupada went there by himself. But he knew that Krishna is with him. But he didn't say, oh, why Krishna? Why are you giving me these troubles, these problems, this and that? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says all of these obstacles, all of these hindrances, all of these problems are his ecstasy. To struggle for Krishna, the devotee becomes more happy. Look at Kunti, Queen Kunti, right? What did Queen Kunti says? Let all these obstacles and calamities come. Of course, we don't ask like that. Because we're not Krishna conscious, right? If we're Krishna conscious, if they come, it's nothing. So you become Krishna conscious. And all of this, these are minute. Prabhupada says, if I tell you all the rules and regulations, you will faint. You will faint. Because it's... You know what Ekadasi means? We have to fast the night before. For us, we feast the night before. Right? We know, hey, Prabhu, tomorrow is Ekadasi. Let's have a big feast. Let's eat a lot of, as many grains as possible. Because tomorrow is Ekadasi. Isn't it? And devotees are finding it difficult. Real Ekadasi, you have to fast, no sleeping, no prajalpa, only hearing and chanting, and that's it. But we eat. There are fruits. Right? Ekadasi pasan. So these difficulties are nothing. Nothing. Don't think it is difficulties. These are challenges for you, how sincere you are. You have to prove to Durga Devi that you're trying to become a devotee. You have to prove Durga. If she's convinced that you're a devotee, she'll leave you alone. Then everything is open, everything is smooth. Right now, your mind is thinking, oh, this is difficult. It's not difficult. For others, it's difficult to get up in the morning. Now, if you become used to getting up early in the morning, you become guilty without coming, if you don't come for the Mangalarti. Isn't it? I told you, I have an alarm clock, but I wake up before the alarm clock. Why? Because the body, it's not the body anymore, it's just the mechanism inside. The consciousness inside is telling me, you have to get up now. But for others, oh no, 10 o'clock in the morning, oh it's nice, it's sleep, still sleeping. Japa time, the mind gives you problem. Oh yes, you can go to sleep and get up for Guru Puja. The mind says like this, right? Sometimes. So you have to fight that. You have to chant, hear the holy name. It's no difficulty. As one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, one of his personal secretaries, he wrote a book, What is the Difficulty? Right? Prabhupada says that also. What is the difficulty? The difficulty is the mind. The mind. Being in the bodily platform means mental platform. You're identifying with your mind. That means bodily platform. It culminates in that because mind is the center of all the senses. So don't listen to your mind. There is no difficulty. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.